Hello guys, how are you? I hope you are fine. So welcome to our first lesson. Bienvenidos, bienvenidas a nuestra clase. So first of all, I introduce myself. My name is Usama and my nickname is Wazani Taibi. I am your Spanish teacher, and today we are going to see the basics of Spanish language. And we know when we want to start learning a new language, the first thing we should know and we should learn is alphabet. So let's get started. Okay, so as we know, Spanish language is the second or the third spoken language in the world. We can find it in Spain, in South America, in some countries in Africa. Okay, so first we start with alphabets. Alphabets in Spanish language is alfabeto. Alfabeto. So in Spanish language we have 22 consonants and 5 vowels. 22 consonantes, 5 vocales. So now we start with consonants. The first consonants we have is B, B, and we find this sound in the word boca, boca, which means mouth. So the second consonant or the second letter is th, th. So as I said before, Spanish is spoken in Spain and in South America. In Spain, the Spanish people, they pronounce this th, th, like this. But in South America, the people pronounce it like this, se, normal, se. Okay, here we have two cases. So the letter th can have two pronunciations. In the first pronunciation is when we put th beside a, o, or u. We can have the sound of k or ka. Okay, and we can see this in the example of casa, casa, which means house. Okay, and in the second situation is when we put or when th comes beside or before I or e and gives us the sound of c. So we can find this in the example of cebolla, cebolla or cebolla. Okay, both of them are correct. So let's go to the next letter. The next letter is D, D, and we can find this letter in the word of dedo, dedo, which means finger, finger. Okay, the next one is F, F. We can find this in the example of familia, familia, which means family. So the next letter is G. This letter has the same situation of th before. Okay, so when G comes with a or o or u, gives us the sound of g. So here we have an example, gato, gato, which means cat. So in the second situation is when G comes with e or I, give us the sound of G. Okay, G, and we can find it in the example of gente, gente, which means people. So the next one is okay, so the next one is Ache. Ache is look like someone sneezes. Ache. Exactly. So we can find this letter in the example of hombre. Hombre. And by the way, this letter is silent, doesn't have any voice, so we cannot pronounce it like in English. For example, we say happy. No, we don't say it. Is we don't pronounce it. Is silent letter. So hombre, which means man. So the next letter is J. J. Okay, J. And we can find it in the example of juguete. Juguete. Okay, which means toys or games. So the next one is K. K. Actually, we don't find a lot of or many words in Spanish with this letter, because most of the words have C, okay, and C or Q, okay. So we don't need, most of the words doesn't have this letter, okay. So we can find this letter in the word of kilo, look like for example kilogram, okay, kilo. Okay, so the next one is L. L. And we find this letter in the example of libro. Libro, which means book. Okay, so the next letter is double L. Okay, double L. So the pronunciation of this letter is eye. Okay, eye, because double L's give us the sound of y. Okay, y, eye. So we can find this letter or this sound in the example of lluvia. 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 Okay, lluvia, which means rain. So the next example or the next consonant is M. M. And we can find this consonant in the example of mesa. Mesa, which means table. Table. Okay, so the next one is N. N. Okay, N. If you not said that in Spanish language, we force a little bit the letters. For example, here we don't say M. No, we say M. Okay, M. Here we don't say N. We say N. Okay, so we can find this letter in the example of niña. Okay, niña. Niña, which means girl or little girl. Okay, child, but this child is girl. Okay, which means niña. Niña. Okay, so the next one is Enye. Enye is it seems to N, okay, but we add here like look like hot. Okay, we can say hot. Actually, I don't know the name of this. So we say this letter is Enye. Enye. Okay, and we find it in the example of España. España. Okay, here we have Nia. Nia. España, which means Spain, the country. So the next one is P. P. Okay, and we can find this consonant in the word of pantalón. Pantalón, which means pants. Okay, so the next example or the next letter is Q. Q, like this. Q, and we can find it in the example of queso. Queso, which means cheese. So the next letter is R. R. Okay, the same thing with this letter. Okay, I mean, we don't say N or M, we say N, M. Also, we don't say R, we say R, R. Okay, we force it, we force. Okay, okay, and we find this in the example of Rio, Rio, which means river, river. So let's go to the next one. Is essay, essay. Okay, essay, and we find this in the example of sol, sol, which means sun. So the next one is te. Okay, te, and we can find this letter in the word of tiburon, tiburon. Okay, tiburon, like this, tiburon, ron, which means shark. Okay, so the next one is ube, ube. I know many people will say no, but it's V. Yeah, in English it's V, but in Spanish the pronunciation is different. So we say ube, and we don't say vaca. No, we say vaca, vaca. We pronounce this as B. Okay, vaca. So let's go to the next one. Next one is ube doble, ube doble, ube doble. Actually, in Spanish we don't use this letter a lot, so so I put the word of web as example, web. Okay, so we pronounce it exactly like in English. Okay, so we say web also in Spanish. Okay, so the next one is X, 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 and here we have example of examen, examen, which means exam. So let's go to the next one. Next one is Y, 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 and we can find this in the example of rey, rey, rey. Okay, rey, so which means king. So let's go to the next one. Okay, here we have theta. Actually in Spain we say theta. Okay, but in South America also the people there say zeta. Okay, so both of them are correct. So here we have an example, zorro, zorro. Okay, also we can say zorro. Both of them are correct, which means fox. So here we have a sound. So ch or ch give us the sound of cha. Okay, and we find this sound in the word of chico, chico. Okay, which means a boy. So now we are going to see the vowels. Okay, as we said, we have 5 vowels, 5 vocales. So let's go to see the first one. So the first one is the vowel, okay, a, a. Okay, in English we say a, but in Spanish we say a, like this, a. And we find this in the example of agua, agua, which means water or water. Okay, so the next one is next one is e. Okay, e. We don't say e as in English. No, we open our mouth a little bit. We say e, and we find this in the example of estudiar, estudiar, which means study. the verb study. Okay, estudiar is verb. So let's go to the next one. So the next one is, here we have E. Okay, E is not I, but E. In English, yeah, it's I. In English, in Spanish is E. So we find it in the example of inteligente. Okay, we must show the pronunciation. Listen, inte, inte. Okay, inteligente, inteligente, which means intelligent. Okay, so the next one will be O. In English, yeah, but in Spanish is O, like this, O. And we find it in oreja, 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 which means ear, an ear. Okay, so the next one will be the next letter is U. Okay, U. Look, it's easy to say, it's to pronounce. Look, we have O, but this is U. O, U. Okay, it's easy. And we find it in the example of uba, 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 which means grape. Okay, uba, grape. Okay, the next one, what we will see. Okay, now we are in another step. So now we will see and we will learn some sounds in Spanish. Okay, so in sounds in Spanish is sonidos, sonidos. Okay, so let's get started. Let's go to C. So okay, here we have the first sound is I. Okay, I. And we find this in the example of aeropuerto, aeropuerto, which means airports. Okay, not airplane. Airplane is other thing. Aeropuerto, airport. Okay, so the next one is, here we have also I. Okay, but here we let our mouth open a little bit. Here we close it. Okay, for example, here we say aeropuerto, but here we say paisaje, 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 which means landscape. Okay, landscape. Okay, so the next one is, here we have ow. Okay, ow. So a and o give us the sound of ow, and we find it in the word of Bilbao. Bilbao is a city in Spain. It's in the north. Okay, Bilbao. So the next one is, here we have also it's ow, but here we should close our mouth a little bit. Okay, so here we have ow, and in the example of flauta. Okay, flauta, flauta, which means floats. Okay, floats is an instrument for making sounds in the music. Okay, so let's go. So the next one is ella. Ella. Here we put the sound. Here we put the letters together, or the vowels together, and here we put the sound that makes. Okay, so we can find this sound in the word of idea. Idea. Okay, idea, which means idea. Okay, so the next one will be, here we have it's okay, it's eye. Okay, eye, and we find it in the example of reina. Okay, reina, reina, which means queen. Reina. Before we saw rey, king. Now we see reina, queen. Okay, let's go. So the next one is, okay, ello. 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 We find it here in the word of leon. Leon, which means lion. Okay, so here we have the next one is eu. Okay, here eu, but here eu. 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 We can find this in the example of Europa. 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 Okay, which means Europe. Okay, so the next one is ia. Okay, ia. We can find it in the word of piano. Piano, which means piano also in English. Okay, so the next one is here we have another sound. This sound is y. Y. Okay, y. And we find it in the word of miel. Miel, which means honey. Honey. Okay, the next one is, okay, the next one is illo. Illo. We find it in the word of palacio. Palacio. Okay, which means palace or castle. So the next one, okay, here we have also is illo. Here illo, but here illo. Okay, palacio, ciudad. Ciudad or ciudad. You can pronounce it however you want. Okay, you are free. Ciudad, which means city. Okay, the next one is, here we have oa. Oa. Okay, we find it here in the word of toalla. Toalla. Oa, toalla. We said before that double L give us the sound of y. So toalla. Toalla, which means towels. Okay, towel. Towel. Okay, so the next one is so here we have uwi. Okay, uwi. Uwi. Okay, so we find this sound in the word of poesia. Poesia. Poesia, which means poem. Okay, poem. Poesia. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Okay, here we have this sound which is oi. Okay, oi, and we find it here in this word boicotear. Actually, it's verb. Boicotear means boycott in English. Yeah, boicotear, boycott. So the next one is, here we have ua. Ua, which we can find it. Sorry, we can find it in the word of cuatro. Cuatro is number 4. Cuatro. Cuatro. We will have another lesson just for numbers. Okay, cuatro. So next one. Okay, so here we have the next one is uwi. Okay, uwi. Uwi, we find it in the word of puerta. Puerta, which means door. Puerta. Okay, so the next one is okay, here we have another example. Actually, this is a little bit different. Here we have uwi. Okay, but we read it as e. Okay, and we put this sound exactly after when we want to pronounce, for example, if we put e directly after g, so we will pronounce it chi, but we want to pronounce it as g, so we put u between g and e, and like this we can have the pronounce of gi. Okay, so this word is guitarra, which means guitar. Okay, so the next one, okay, so the next one is owu. Okay, owu. I know the sounds are a little bit difficult to pronounce, but step by step. Okay, so we find this sound in the word of respetuoso, which means respectful, someone respectful. Okay, so the next one is this. Actually, this letter is, you will not find it a lot, and you will see it a lot in Spanish. No, so time to time. Okay, and this sound is uwi. Okay, uwi, and we can find it in this word. Okay, which is penguino, which means penguin. Okay, penguino. And we have another word, and is this. Also this is uwi, but this is uwe, and we find this in the word of vergüenza, or vergüenza. Okay, are same, are correct, both of them. Vergüenza, which means shame. Okay, shame. So this is what we have for this lesson. I hope you enjoy with me, and I hope everything is clear. So today we saw consonants, vowels and sounds, consonantes, vocales, and sonidos. Okay, so I hope everything was clear, and if you have question, please write comments and ask me. I am always available, and I can answer you in all the times. Okay, so muchísimas gracias por vuestra atención. Thank you so much for your attention, and see you later.